That's not a New Year's resolution. That's a death wish, exclaimed Marla. Her voice barely rose above the hiss and clatter of the boiler room. The air smelled of grease and coal, the flicker of gaslights casting elongated shadows across the brass fittings lining the walls. Caleb adjusted the goggles perched on his forehead, his grease-streaked hands resting casually on the console of his airship, the Dauntless. "You're being dramatic," he said, his tone light as he twisted a brass valve. Steam hissed in response. "It's just a challenge, Marla," he continued. "People attempt the Iron Spire every year." "Not in winter," she shot back. "Not in the middle of ether storms." She folded her arms, her corset creaking slightly with the motion. Her brass-accented boots tapped a sharp rhythm against the metal grating beneath them as she strode up to him. The last person who tried ended up as charred scrap at the base of the spire. Caleb smirked and leaned back, the gears of his mechanical arm whirring softly as it flexed. "They didn't have my skills, or my airship. Or your ego," Marla snapped. She paced the room, her long coat flaring behind her. "Caleb, you're not the first engineer to think they're indestructible. The Spire doesn't care about your clever little gadgets." "I know," Caleb shot back. "Neither did the Aeronautics Guild. That's why I have to show them what I can do." His eyes flashed behind his monocle. "This isn't just about the Spire. It's about proving I'm more than this." He waved his arm, encompassing the cluttered room, the half-finished inventions, the scraps of failed dreams. Marla sighed, her frustration softening into something closer to worry. She knew Caleb had been restless since the Aeronautics Guild had cast him out for reckless experimentation. But this, navigating the Iron Spire's deadly labyrinth of metallic cliffs and ether currents in the dead of winter, this was madness. "You don't have to risk your life to prove yourself," she said, her voice quieter now. "Maybe I do." Caleb turned to her, the flickering light catching the jagged scar along his jawline. "I'm tired of being grounded, Marla. Tired of watching the world from down here while everyone else soars." She stopped pacing, her boots grinding to a halt against the metal floor. For a moment, the only sound was the rhythmic pulse of the engine. She observed him for a long moment. "You'll die up there," she said finally, her voice barely a whisper. "Or I'll come back," he replied, "and they'll have to recognize what I'm capable of." Marla hesitated, then took a deep breath. "If you're really going to do this, you're not doing it alone." Caleb raised a suspicious eyebrow and asked, "You? On the Dauntless? You hate flying." "But I'm a damn good pilot and I hate losing even more," she shot back. "Besides, someone's got to keep your head out of the clouds, and your airship out of the storm currents." A slow grin spread across Caleb's face. "Are you serious?" "Deadly serious," she said as she grabbed a pair of goggles from the workbench and slapped them onto her head. "Let's see if your precious ship can handle a real pilot." He laughed, a sound that echoed with more than just amusement. It was hope, daring, and defiance all in one. "To risky resolutions," he said, extending his mechanical hand. "To resolutions worth the risk," she replied, shaking it firmly. As the engine roared to life and the propellers spun up with a metallic hum, the two stepped into the cockpit, ready to challenge the skies and the world that doubted them.